suitcase in my hand, and I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, it's hard to tell when all your love's in vain, all my love's in vain. When the train rolled up at the station, I looked her in the eye. When the train rolled up the station, I looked her in the eye. Well, I was lonesome, felt so lonesome, I could not help but cry. All my love's in vain. The train, he left the station with two lights on behind. When the train, he left the station with two lights on behind. Well, blue light was my blues, red light was my mind. All my love's in vain. Hey, great to see you and welcome to another lesson, and thank you very much indeed for joining me for this one. So there you heard my simple version of Robert Johnson's Love in Vain. Now, many of you will already know that I've covered this song in its more original format where we use our fingers, and it's very close to the original. Now, the problem with that is that it's not very accessible to lots of different people, because you really need to be an intermediate player to kind of advanced to play those songs as they were written. Now, the Robert Johnson songs that I've covered so far have proved to be some of my most popular videos. And so what I've started to do is teach some simple versions of his songs. So it's like a platform for you to build on, and it uses some of the same concepts and helps you with the timing and the arrangement of the song. So that's what they're intended to do, just so you get a feel for these songs, and then you can progress on and try and develop them as you go. Okay, so as you could see, the song is based in A, and we're just playing this shuffle really throughout this song. So we're playing an A shuffle, which is, and many of you will be very familiar with all this kind of shuffle thing because it's something that I've covered extensively. If you're not very familiar with that type of thing, then check out my Blues Guitar for Complete Beginners, in which I run through all those basic ideas. I'm assuming a little bit of knowledge with this lesson, okay? Although I will break it down and give you the basics. So as I say, we're looking to play a shuffle on the A chord. So for this A chord, all I'm really doing here is it looks like I'm barring the bottom four strings, but in reality, all we're really bothered about are the third and fourth strings of the second fret, okay? Because when we play our A, I'm literally just playing the fifth and the fourth strings. And this ring finger is going on and off the fourth string of the fourth fret. So that's how we create our shuffle. I'm dampening the sound a little bit because it makes it sound a little bit more authentic if you can get that dampened sound. And we're just literally playing 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, like so, okay? So I'm going to now talk about this ring finger. So it's off and on and off and on and off and on and off and on. So that's really all you're looking to do. And it's the same with the D. Now I'm not playing the whole D, as you can see. I'm just using 2 fingers and playing like a partial D, and I'm just using my index on the 3rd string of the 2nd fret and my middle finger on the 3rd fret 2nd string. And this ring finger is doing exactly the same thing. Okay, so it's going on and off this 4th fret of the 3rd string. So we have. Now we're just playing the 3rd and 4th strings for our D shuffle. Okay, so we've got off and on, and off and on, and off and on. Same as the A shuffle, okay? And that is what the bulk of the song is made up of. We have an E chord as well. Okay, and I'm sure many of you will be familiar with an E chord. And that's up there just in case you need it anyhow. And then like an E7 as well. Now, before we get into the kind of verses of the song and things like that, there is an intro to this song. Now, you don't have to play it if you're a beginner and you're just looking to play the kind of groove, but I'll show you it anyway, okay? It's the bottom 3 strings, and what we're doing is we're using our middle finger and our ring finger on the 9th fret, 1st and 3rd strings, like so, all right? And then we're putting our index finger on the 8th fret 2nd string. And we have that shape. If you think about it, it's like a D7 here, only moved up, right? So like I say, middle finger and ring finger, 9th fret, 1st and 3rd strings, and the index finger on the 8th fret 2nd string. And what we're going to be looking to do is go. Then we're going to drop it down. And then, so we're literally just dropping that shape down. We're not changing anything, we're just moving it backwards, all right? So we're going. So you can pick out that last one if you want to, or you can just strum it, doesn't really matter, you can kind of. And we finish on this long A. Okay, now you might find that a bit of a challenge if you're a beginner, so you can always just play a standard A, all right? But if you can, just bar these bottom 4 strings and put that little finger on the 1st string of the 5th fret and you play. And you just play from the 5th string downwards. Okay, so let's look at that intro one more time before we move on. Okay, now at this point there's a little turnaround which goes. Now you'll notice that I'm trying to show you how to play this with a pick or the plectrum, because there are many people out there who don't use the fingers, and I should just add that using your fingers is something you definitely want to consider. So if it's not something you've done up until this point, then really give that some serious consideration. I've done lots of lessons on how to get started using your fingers, and if you're interested in that, drop me a line and I'll point you in the right direction, because it really, really will help if you're looking to be a blues player in the long term. Okay, so this technique here, all we're doing is we're playing the 1st and the 4th strings on the 5th fret, right? And we're using the pick to play the 4th string and my finger here to play the 1st. And all we're doing is we're dropping down on this 4th string. Okay, so it's just going 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Now, if you find that a struggle, too difficult going, then you can just play. Okay, so there's always a way that you can adapt things so you can play these things, and then you can build up to maybe always look to try and improve on what you're doing once you've got the basics down. Okay, So after we come out of that turnaround, we go into an E7. Okay, so that's just an E with your little finger on the second string of the 3rd fret. And that takes us into our shuffle, like I was just showing you, the A shuffle. And I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Okay, so that's just all our A shuffle. Now we go to our D. Followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Back to A. To E. I was lonesome, felt E7. So you can go E, so E7, felt so lonesome. Now, at this stage, you can just play a D. I could not help but cry. Okay, so that's the most basic way. So you're playing this E7. Lonesome, felt so lonesome. I could not help but cry. And then you're into an A. Now, there are a couple of ways to play this D section, right? So that's what I'd like to break down and show you. The most simple is what I've just done there, using that D. But perhaps a nicer way is to go, I was lonesome from the E, felt so lonesome, could not help but cry. And we're still playing like a D, okay, essentially. It's like a D7 with an F sharp in the bass. Okay, so all we're doing there is we're using our middle finger on that 6th string 2nd fret, and then we're using our ring finger on the 3rd string of the 2nd fret as well, and our index finger on the 2nd string of the 1st fret. And we're just playing the top strings really. Could not help but cry. And then we go to a 1 strike of A, and then we play our turnaround. Or alright, and then we're back into another verse. So we've been round once already, we've played the intro, yeah, so you're doing well now if you're kind of following on with this. And we've also played a verse. So at this stage, in a sense, all we're really doing is repeating it. But that's a good idea to hear it repeated a couple of times, and then you'll be in a good position to go off and kind of get this one down, okay? So after we've done our turnaround, depending on how you're going to play it, you might try and do the tricky version, this version. Or you might just do the... When the train, back to shuffle, left the station, just our A, with 2 lights along behind. Now we can play a little run up here. When a train, and all we're doing for the little walk up is playing the open 5th string, 2, 3, 4. All on the 5th string, open, 2, 3, 4, and into D. Left the station with 2 lights on behind. Back to A. Well, blue light was my blues. So E7, and then, like I say, you can play the D, or you can play blue light was my mind, or the red light was my mind. Red light was my mind. And however you're going to play the D, after the D, we're back into the A. All my love's in vain. Okay, and then if you're interested for what I was doing for the solo bit, I was just playing that intro chord, which is the 9th fret, 1st and 3rd strings again, index finger on the 8th fret 2nd string, and I was just sliding in from, I was playing back, forward. Then to D. Back to riff. Now into E, D, and that's how we end it. Okay, so we do our little run. Let's do the simple one. Then we jump up onto the 5th string, 3rd fret, back to the 4th string, 4th fret, and then we play an A7 like that. Okay, so I'm borrowing all those strings on the 2nd fret from the 4th down, and then I'm using my middle finger on the 3rd fret, 1st string. Okay, so just one more time with the drop down. And that's how we end it. So that's a little something that you can practice if you like the Robert Johnson thing and you find the other arrangements a little bit too difficult. This is a great starting place. Maybe you can practice some of those ideas. So I hope that you enjoy this one, and I look forward to seeing you soon with another lesson. In the meantime, take care.